Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today I want to talk to you about the current symptoms you're going through another spiritual awakening. There's something big that is happening, and there's so many synchronicities that actually led me to making this video. So I will explain all of that to make a bit more sense out of what is happening right now and to see with how many of these things you may resonate right now. So you may be noticing that there's one specific cycle that kind of started repeating for you, but it's not the same that it was in the past. It's so much deeper, it's so much more profound, and you're getting out of it so many more realizations if you're doing the inner work, if you're going within and really sitting with yourself, being with yourself, and just noticing where this process is taking you. So there's something I wrote down today as a message, as an introduction, and usually how it happens, I come across certain information completely spontaneously. Like, I would be led to a certain specific information, and then it just feels like this information activates me and I get incredible downloads, and it just makes sense. So this is how the process works for me, and that's how I'm making art. Sometimes a word can inspire me and then I just see a whole picture. And I've just finished actually my latest painting that there's another synchronicity with it. I will explain everything. So firstly, let's go to this message. It goes like this. Many of you are going right now through another awakening. You're facing the deepest aspects or the deeper aspects of your fears that may even not be a product of this lifetime, but previous ones. Memories that are coming out are serving you as guidance, so pay attention to the details of whatever you recall, and later I will explain this. Investigate it, as it will lead you to realizations and wisdom for this time. You're also noticing deeper degrees of attachments you were not aware of before. With that, you have an opportunity to shatter your old identity with forgiveness, surrender, and sacrifice to a new you to emerge. The new you will be the purest version of yourself that has a greater sense of contentment, thought control, responsibility, and lightness in the heart. So, to those of you who resonate with this message, hit the like button and let me know in the comment section how many of you feel like you're going through this another awakening. So for me, around the year 2019 and 2020, huge awakening was happening for me. Like, I've started completely changing my life. In 2018, I've started this journey. Like, I've started painting out of nowhere. I've created this YouTube channel. I've started sharing a message. I just felt a very deep magnetism towards spiritual topics and all kinds of subjects like conspiracy theories, extraterrestrials, mindfulness, all kinds of these deep subjects. And then I went through a process of working with my fears and my shadow side and all of that. And then it led me to where I am today. And it was a lot of growth. It was a very, intense and fast process for me. So from the year 2020 till 2022, or maybe even into the year 2023, the growth in so many areas in my life, in our lives, me and Maya, as we're walking this path together for 11 years now. The growth happened so fast that we were like so amazed, shocked, but also quite scared because we had no idea where it is taking us. And then 2023 happened, and 2023 was then a year where things became more kind of stable, and we had more time to reflect, like where we want to take everything from here on. And we've started noticing, okay, certain aspects in our lives are unstable, where we were living, where we were not satisfied anymore. So we moved. We actually moved 2 times in 2000. No, we moved 1 time in 2023. Or actually, no. Actually, I need to, reflect a little bit. In 2023, we've started thinking deeply, like we want to move. And then this year, 2024, we moved 2 times. And everything, in 2024, 2024, okay, now I'm getting messed up a little bit. 2024 for us was a year where just everything from the past, just much deeper, started coming up once again. Deeper, like fears I haven't, I thought I'm completely over it. Deeper fears. And they didn't make much sense to me, like from where these fears are coming from, until I started having very interesting dreams. Like I would be dreaming completely different lifetimes. And, sometimes it felt like I would be in a different place, like a different planet. Sometimes it felt like I would be at a time where we've been so evolved, and there was a huge separation between technological evolution and spiritual evolution. And there are so many of this kind of different dreams and kind of memories coming up. And then I've started slowly connecting the dots that, inside of us, inside of our DNA, we're carrying the information from the beginning of time. And as we're evolving through life, we are activating memories that are the most necessary, needed, and meaningful for this present time. And I've started noticing that these memories are not random. These fears that are coming up are not random. At some point, it felt like they're blocking my evolution. And then I've started reflecting the time when I've started doing this, and I've noticed back at that time I went through so many fears. And the process that helped me to deal with these fears was actually to separate myself from most people in my life, and just to be really present with myself, to reflect a lot, to meditate a lot, and just to see what is going on. And right now I did quite, similar thing. So I've changed many routines. I've changed my meditation practice. Right now I'm just meditating in quietness with melodic music. That's all I'm doing. And I'm just, focusing on nothingness. And whatever comes up, I reflect on it. And then I go back into nothingness. And I'm doing it for 1 hour and 30 minutes, whatever I need to make sense of what is coming up. So that's what I've been doing recently. And then so many interesting synchronicities started happening in my life. And I want to share this while making sense for this topic today. So first of all, you've heard solar flares are happening, very, very intense solar flares. The sun is going through 11-year cycles. Right now we're at the peak of sun's activity, which is just intensifying everything. There's been a lot of science done, actually, the correlation between solar activity and our nervous system, the human activity. So when these solar flares are more active, it means that it affects our nervous system. It becomes more active and it starts kind of, circulating electricity and blood to the brain. And then we have more of these spontaneous thoughts, and more overthinking may be happening. You may feel more tired, more agitated, more exhausted, even though you are sleeping well. And all of this is happening right now. And that's why it's so important to really be present with yourself, to really slow down, and to really notice that those are not random things. Those are If you look at them as activations, it may be very helpful. But if you look at them as activations, then better to do something with it, right? Better to notice what memories are coming up, what maybe dreams, visions in your dreams are coming up, maybe what's happening in your meditation, what's happening, if you see a certain vision. So let me share something with you. Around 3 weeks ago, I've started working on this painting, and here with this camera, it's not so beautiful as it actually is. Here it doesn't look so interesting, but when you see it in person, it's so beautiful. And when Maya saw this painting, she said, "This is the most healing painting you've ever done." And when I look at it, I just feel goosebumps. I don't know if you feel anything right now. Maybe this camera that I'm recording this video today is not the best. But she said this is the most healing painting you've ever done. And usually when I finish a painting, I get a name for it and the whole explanation. But when she saw it, she said, the name for this painting must be Resurrection. Resurrection. Okay? So I felt goosebumps. I felt, yes, this is the perfect name. That's also how I feel right now. And then what started happening in my meditations, I've started seeing this cross, the cross of the Christ. Many people would call it this way. It started appearing very vividly, and then it usually turns into light. So it didn't happen one time. It started happening every single day. At a certain point of my meditation where my mind becomes very vivid, I start seeing this cross. So for some time I was contemplating on it, and then I got another realization. It's what I wrote here. It's the new you will be the purest version of you that has a sense of contentment, thought control, responsibility, and lightness in the heart. But what I wanted to say was, to shatter your old identity with forgiveness, surrender, and sacrifice to a new you to emerge. So that was the realization that found me. To forgive anyone that hurt you. Forgive anyone that caused you to feel whatever tension you may feel in your body. Forgive them even deeply. To surrender. You see, the word surrender is so mystical, but so hard to understand, because so many, we go on YouTube and we look for the topic of letting go or surrender, and people have these different ideas and methods and practices and whatever. But what I found out about surrender, it's so much more energetical than it is actually. It's not even a practice at all. It's more of change of focus. Like, if you are focused on problems consume you. If you focus on emptiness consumes you. If you focus on God or the universal force that is feeding you, that is giving you aliveness, you become it, and it becomes you, right? So the real surrender I've noticed through my practices was that I need to focus on something greater, something that ascends me, something that puts me into a greater sense of lightedness. And then integrate it in your daily life. So walk in it, work in it, talk in it, paint in it. Do everything in this sense. And when you lose it, it means you've fallen back into your old personality, back into your old self. So reconnect with it. So my whole meditation practice became to practice surrendering. And deeper I go into this practice, more I notice how much I'm attached to a personality, how much I'm attached to certain patterns, certain thinking patterns, certain beliefs, certain emotional reactions, and the way how they control me. So I've started noticing more I surrender in meditation, more I start to feel lighter in my daily life. That is one thing that may be also helpful for you. So I said forgiveness, surrender, but then also sacrifice. What sacrifice means? Isn't it a symbol of Christ on the cross? I'm not a religious person. I'm actually, I think all the religion, all the religious systems are completely done. They're outdated. They're finished. And we're going into a new era. There will be actually, many new religions will happen because people still don't understand this whole, they don't understand themselves. So they will start praising information, and people will start praising extraterrestrials, and people will start praising new teachers, and so on. But those who understand, they know that the only person they should truly praise is themselves, and not to elevate them onto a level of superiority, but to recognize that how they define them, that's how they will experience their lives. And as much as we practice this, anything we choose to be defined by, that's what we become. So if you choose to be defined by something greater, by an idea that is greater than yourself right now, eventually you will become it. And who knows where's the limit of your definition until you become completely limitless, right? Who knows where's that kind of a border where you kind of cross it and you become unlimitless. That's your own realization to get to, right? So then another synchronicity that led me to this video was I had a dream where there was a shelf of books, and in between all these books there was a white book, pure white book. And I saw in my dream I'm pulling this book out. There was no title, nothing. So firstly I thought it's like an empty book and it's a message for me that it's time to write a book or to finish a book that I'm writing or something like that. But it didn't really resonate. And then few days later, I saw a comment. Sometimes when I'm reading comments, certain comment just stands out, and someone wrote about something related to this school of enlightenment. So I googled what it was because it resonated, and I came across this channeler, Jay-Z Knight, I think it's her name, and she was channeling the entity called Rampa, and this name resonated. Everything about it resonated. So I've started looking a little bit what this Rampa was all about, what it was. And I've noticed there was written a book, The White Book. It's called The White Book. And I've started reading it, and there was a story of this Rampa that explained almost what we are going through right now. And everything resonated so deeply. So I want to share a bit of this story with you to see how much you can connect it with your life. So this Rampa is, he calls himself as Rampa the Enlightened One. He's supposed to live his incarnation 35,000 years ago. And there was a lot of controversy around this woman because back at that time she was famous, the most famous, I think, at the peak of her career in 80s, 90s, because most people just didn't understood what was really happening. But the wisdom of this Rampa being is very, very profound. And the most profound it is because it's coming from a personal experience. So this Rampa explains where he was coming from. He was living a life at a time where there was kind of a battle or separation between Atlantean people and what was the other? The Lemurian people. So he was he was a part of Lemurian people, and the separation happened because Lemurian people were deeply spiritually evolved. They had this belief in God. They've been living in a profound spiritual connection. They had telepathic abilities and all of that, but they were not technologically advanced. They didn't pay any attention to technology, while Atlantean people were deeply technologically evolved, and they've started praising technology. They figured out how to use the power of light for the advancement of their technology, and they've started, completely praising it. So at some point, Atlantean people were attacking and using Lemurian people for slavery, and those who didn't want to participate, they killed them. And that's when this Rampa being started questioning everything, like, is there a God? He started questioning his spirituality, all of this. Because he couldn't understand, if there is a God, why he or it would allow this to happen right now. He needed to bury his family. He needed to bury many of his people. He was so angry. He had such a great rage within him when he was seeing that he said, I want to meet this thing called God. I want to know who or what it is and why it is allowing this to happen. So he noticed a mountain where he was, and he decided to climb this mountain. For many days he was climbing that mountain, came to the top, and he wanted to meet God, and nothing happened. There was no feedback, nothing. But then at one moment, a woman appeared to him with a sword, and that woman gave him a sword and disappeared. I think she said to him, like, use this and fight, or something like that. So he got this sword, and he came back down from the mountain, and he decided that he will go against anyone who was against his people. So he started killing people. He went into war. He won many wars, if not all of them. His people started following him. His people started praising him. And he just wanted to be alone. He wanted to figure out what this thing God is. Until one day he was contemplating. He was sitting down at the sunset, seeing the sun going down, seeing the moon coming up. And he was contemplating. And this resonated so much with me, because it just feels like we are here right now. He was contemplating. He said, I've killed many people. And I've killed people who were against us, and people who were against us killed my people, but the sun is still coming up. The moon is still coming up. So what difference does it make? And at one specific moment, then he got this realization that maybe God is really not a being somewhere out there. It's more of an expression of personality in living things, in living organism. And the way we choose to define ourselves is the way we express God through us. So this was his first realization. Right now it feels like we are somewhere here. Like, it felt so real for me. Like, you may be in battles with yourself. You may be in battles with people around you. You may be in struggles because of finances, or you may be in pain because of certain whatever things in your life. What we can learn from this Rampa is that in order to really ascend, to really spiritually evolve, go through all the phases, go through all emotions, go through everything you're dealing with, go through rage, go through anger, go through all kinds of experiences that you may think they're bad, that they make you question everything. Go through all of this. It's just that you need these experiences to wake you up. Like, he needed to go through wars. He needed to I guess, kill these people. He needed to go through everything to realize that it's still not a solution. The point is that you go through all kinds of human experiences to fully wake up. When you recognize that whatever you've done didn't help. So if what you've done didn't help, it means you need to know better. Only so you would recognize that maybe there could be a greater expression of you. Maybe there could be a different way to deal with this. And maybe there's just a lack of a better approach for that thing, and you need a better perspective. And maybe the perspective that you need may not come from another human being. Maybe it needs to come from a higher realms, and for that you need to do some spiritual work. Like he did. He started questioning the existence. So he started to feeling a sense of wind, and he started asking himself, what would it feel to be a wind? And it's a similar story to the story of The Alchemist. If you've read the book The Alchemist, at a certain point towards the end of the book, the alchemist became the wind. And he wanted to experience what would it feel like to become a wind. So how he did that was that he focused on nothingness and started to feel a wind moving around, flowing around. And how would it feel like to be at different places, to move the trees? And he was practicing this for such a long time that at some point he got this bird-like perspective. He saw his body, he was traveling around, and this gave him a completely new perspective on life. He's noticed, well, I can actually mind travel. And if I allow for enough time to contemplate on something, I will become it. So he started practicing more of these things, like contemplating on becoming in a different place. And after some time, he successfully kinda teleported himself to that different place, while physically he was still there. Some people actually were able to see him. Until at some point, when he was practicing more and more of this mind control, he ascended his physical body. So he was able to take his physical body with him on these higher realms and mind travel into the past, into the future, and all of that, to learn all these lessons, to go through all human emotions, to go through all kinds of experiences, to go through all kinds of manifestations, to go through all kinds of mental experiments, until he has experienced everything. He became everything, and he decided that he don't need a body anymore. So the reason he decided to be channeled through this woman was because he was so kind of angry towards people. They always, every time a teacher comes with a message, people start praising a teacher instead of studying the message. So he said the only way to prevent this from happening is to come without a body and actually teach people through someone else. But the same thing, many people most probably got incredible wisdom from teachings, but also many people started praising the Jay-Z for that. But why I'm sharing this story with you right now is that we're in a time where solutions are not outside of you anymore. Wars that are happening, the upcoming election, the conflicts in the world, the conflicts in your world, the conflicts inside of your body, the solutions are not outside of you anymore. They are inside of you, and they're in a change of perspective. So your body may be going through a lot right now, but know that your mind can be free. Your soul can be freed, but you need to decide for yourself to do the work, to travel into the future that you would love to experience, and see what it would take, like what parts of you need to leave behind so you can walk into that future. It is a sacrifice. Like for me, it's a sacrifice to make daily messages for you, to bring some energy to you, to create art. It's a sacrifice for me. I could do something completely else, like whatever. I'm doing this, it's a sacrifice. So see what sacrifices you could do so the new you can emerge. Know that it's okay to feel what you feel, to go through whatever you're going through. But understand that you can mind travel. You can envision a new you, a new life, a new earth. And you can manifest it. You can actually decrease the level of conflict on the world. And it may sound weird to some people, but you can actually decrease the level of conflict on the world when you envision a greater pace on the world. There were pace gathering projects that were measured by science to recognize that when collective group of people focuses on peace and harmony, there is decrease of chaos in that specific area. But as soon as they stop doing that, the chaos goes back to where it was. So it doesn't mean that you envision something, you visualize something, and then you go and live your life as before. It means that you become that new you that lives in that more peaceful world. So another thing that I've started seeing in my meditations was a beautiful garden. And I've noticed that with the kind of attitude I go into meditation, that's how this garden looks. So if I'm sad or if I feel a sense of fear, the flowers are more kind of, turned towards the ground like they would be dying. But as soon as I get at peace with myself, and I imagine like my third eye becomes the sun for this garden, it just intuitively this practice came to me. This garden becomes so alive, and butterflies come and birds, and then I start to see a wider perspective of this garden, and I see, all beautiful, vivid colors. It's just happening within me. I've started seeing these things, and when I wake up from a meditation like this, I walk around like I am in that garden. I walk like this is my heaven on earth, and I treat other people like they are in this heaven. And I work on kindness, I work on love, I work on nobility, I work on compassion. Not that I've perfected all of this, but it's my aim, right? Because I know that it's how I choose to define myself. Will I be someone who's reacting to the world, or will I be someone who see a bigger picture and understands that maybe fighting against what's, wrong will not bring a solution? If we study the history, we notice that wars never brought solutions. So, those who understand, they're not angry to those who don't. They look at them from a sense of compassion because they know that one day they will realize. And this is a great level of compassion. And we're all individually on our own paths right now, awakening, getting deeper into new realizations that may help us to see and to understand things more clearly. So on a physical level, these are the most intense times. But on a spiritual level, these are times of the upcoming freedom. So what I'm saying with this message to you today is, firstly, yes, accept what is happening on a physical level. But know that solutions are not there. They're on higher levels, on higher planes. Gain the ability to organize your thoughts of what you want to see. And many of it is happening to you. So look, I said memories will come to you. Like to me, that book came and I made this Rampa entity. And it's not that everything changed, but certain things started to make sense. And I gained some new practices from this entity that helped me to deepen my meditations and to release some of my fears and to get even more at peace with myself, to understand myself and to understand the world around me. And I'm not saying this for you to say to do what I'm doing, but recognize what is coming up for you and notice if it is actually bringing you a bigger meaning, but you can't see it yet. Nothing is random, my friends. Nothing is random, and you already know this. So let me know what is happening to you, how are you feeling right now, and share some insights with the people in the community, because many people are going through something. We are receiving this kind of messages. I'm seeing comments from many of you, and I see many people are going through something. That's why the message is always to really sit with it and find this greater idea that you want to be defined by and really master it through practice to become it. From really thinking about it to practicing it in your daily life, not just in meditation, but to wake up from meditation and living it. And yes, we lose it. Yes, we fall back. Yes, we forget about it, but we return to it and we become it even more until we master it. And suddenly you come to the point where you meet other masters. You meet other entities. You meet other beings, and you realize that you needed to go through everything to learn this. So this is it's a bit longer video, isn't it? But I hope you found a great value in today's message. I will leave you here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Here is my new painting. We'll soon put it on our site AttractPassion.com to see it in details. It's also on my Instagram page, AttractPassion Art, where you can find my art gallery, and AttractPassion Instagram for these daily messages. Also, thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content, community chat, and all of that. You're very welcome there. So yeah, thank you so much for supporting my art. I'm an artist. I've created many paintings and they all are very interesting. So check them out on AttractPassion.com. You can find prints of it. You can find some original ones. And you can find some other products like shirts and mugs and phone cases and things like that if you want to support this mission. For that, I'm grateful. So till next time, one love.